Good morning, everyone. My name is Ryan Joseph Gaffud,
I am Jazel Asuncion.
I'm keifer Menia.
and the report that was given to us is Intrapersonal Computer Mediated Communication. So let's first talk about the intrapersonal communication. So, intrapersonal communication refers to the communication we have with and within ourselves. So, meaning to say, the very definition of this is when we are talking to ourselves without someone that we are talking with. It is also can be a manifestation, or when we are, like, for example, for me, let's say I say to myself that I want to be better today, in order for me to reach my goals in the near future. So, in that sense, I am not saying it, or I am not, yeah, I'm not saying it to anyone or to anybody, but with myself. So, in that sense, that is interpersonal communication. So, like in pandemic, during the pandemic, amidst pandemic, I should say, it is a very brief story of mine. Way back pandemic, during the pandemic, I am, I really wanted to enhance my communication skills in order for me to, to communicate in travel, in order for me to communicate internationally with the use of English. And in that sense, I made a decision that I'm gonna talk with myself, even though I don't have any other people to talk with, to practice with, because I am really shy way back then. And also, I don't have any friends that we are in the same page, that she also wanted to practice his communication or her communication skills. That's why what I did is that I record myself, or sometimes I also speaking in front of people, talking with myself, having a conversation, like an actual conversation with someone, na that we are talking. We are talking about academe, we are talking about some stuff. So in that sense, I can say that it is an intrapersonal communication. So that is the very definition of that. Next, we are going to talk about the identifiability. So, when we are identifiable online, the source of the message is distinguishable and persistent. So, meaning to say, from the word itself, from the very word itself, it is identifiable. Like, for example, me, I send a message to my friend Kyla, and the message, Kyla know who is the sender is, because of course I am identifiable online. So she can say that the sender is me, because she knows my name, she knows my account. And also, like, for example, I receive a message from a company, or to any company, and then through email, and then in that sense, I know who is the sender is, or who are the sender is. It is the message is from the company, so it's not, it is not unknown message, message or sender. So, a very brief story too, or again, of mine. Yesterday, I received a text coming from Cebuana, that blah blah blah, saying that I receive some points from them, and blah blah blah, and some other stuff like that. And then, in that sense, that is identifiable, because from the word Cebuana, meaning to say, the message is from the Cebuana company or family. So that is identifiable, or yeah, identifiable. So that's the my own understanding to this topic. So next, let's talk about the implication. Of course, the identifiability online is important or crucial for making any of our wait for many of our most frequent interactive process. So this is the implication of the identifiable. So after the identifiable, we have the pseudonymity. So let's talk about pseudonymity. So pseudonymity refers to a fictitious alternative identity. So when we say fictitious, this is something that is not true or it is not real. So pseudonymity is like giving us an opportunity to give to explore and to try different things that we've never tried before. And for example, I created another account, and not my real account, and then I use it. I put an image to that account. I put a name in that account, but my behavior, the way I express myself, the way my identity, my behavior is not really my behavior, my identity in person or in my real account. So in that sense, that is pseudonymity. So sometimes we are using this, or we are using pseudonymity to protect our privacy. So that is the pseudonymity that we call.
Thank you, Ryan. So next we have the anonymity, wherein when we are anonymous online, the source of the message is unknown and unspecified. Nothing connects the message sender to the message itself. One way to think of this may be someone spoke, but we do not know whom. Unlike identifiable communication wherein the sender is known, or pseudonymous communication wherein the sender is persistent, in anonymous communication, the sender is unknown or anyone. So we have the two types of anonymity. First is the self-anonymity, wherein the sender perceives herself or himself as anonymous to the receiver. In other words, it is the choice of the sender to be anonymous to someone. When we say other anonymity, the receivers cannot distinguish the sender. So, for example, you receive a letter from a secret admirer. You may think you are anonymous too, as you send the unsigned note or unsigned letter as a self-anonymity. But when the receivers recognize your handwritten, you may not the other anonymity. So one typology was offered by Anonymous 1998, based on how the sender's identify is obfuscated. Is the sender physically or discursively anonymous? So particularly in text-based CMC, discursive anonymity may be more critical to consider, but as more CMC becomes multimodal, physical anonymity becomes equally important to communicators. So we have the physical anonymity, which refers to the state in which one cannot determine or sense the presence of the physical message of a source. So in other words, though you know what's been said and perhaps who sent the message, you cannot tell who or what that source is. So under the physical anonymity, we have the offline. Physical anonymity may occur when talking on the phone or over an online voice. So you may have sensed physical anonymity when making a phone call. Even though you know to whom you're speaking by voice, phone call can lead to a sense of separation with the person on the phone. So, under the physical anonymity, we also have the online. Physical anonymity is quite common as most systems by default limit the physical cues to individual identity. So, in online, for example, you send a message whether through email, social media, even in messaging service or in video chat. We rarely have the physical cue to ourselves. We do not put or allow there ourselves. So we have the discursive anonymity. It refers to the state in which specific comments or statements cannot be linked to a particular sender. So in other words, though you know what's been said, you don't know who said it. So for example, this may be the stranger on a train phenomenon, wherein you speak with someone you've never met or you will never meet again. Then we have the identity online. According to Higgins, 1987, argues there are three domains of self. First is we have the actual self, the representation of you. Actual self may also be the person you truly think you currently are. So it includes your physical, personal, or even your social and psychological attributes. Then we have the ideal self, the representation of the attributes someone would like you to possess. So in other words, it is the person you want to strive to be or you want to become. Then we have the ought self. It is the representation of you that someone believes you should possess. So in ought self, it is the self focusing on being comfortable with who you are in that moment.
Thank you, Ms. Jazel. Next is identity shift. Identity shift refers to the process of self-transformation occurring when an individual makes mediated claims about herself and himself. Refers to the person of self-transformation that happens when an individual reflects on and communicates mediated claims about themselves. For example, if you want to lose weight and become stronger, you need to shed the identity of an overweight person and the beliefs that this is fundamentally when you are and adopt that beliefs that you are healthy person. Next is self-presentation. Identity shift is grounded in the hyper-personal model and specifically its selective and self-presentation component. Entails of behavior that present a person as highly skilled, willing to challenge others, and someone not to be missed. For example, a supervisor may publicly take credit for the accomplishment of others or publicly critique an employee who failed to meet particular. Next is virtual reality. Virtual reality refers to an digitally created space that humans could access by doing. For example is video games or car racing games. Next is Brutus effect refers to change in self-behavior and self-perception based on changes in self-presentation. The Brutus effect is about how an individual visualizes herself, himself, and herself. Propose that the visual characteristic and traits of an avatar are associated with specific behavioral stereotypes and expectation. Example, Users given taller avatars negotiated more accessibly than users given shortened avatars. Next is abandonment. Refers to the action taken experience through digital representation of physical self, allowing the user to take an perception of the embodied avatar. Example is a dancer embodying the context of grace through movement. Next is gaming. Avatars refers to virtual representations controlled by humans and are common means of playing and interacting in many video games, particularly multiplayer games. Augmented reality refers to the use of digital tools to influence or affect how we see and interact with the corporeal world around us, with which computer-generated information that appears to coexist with the real world. For example, the person level are many of the programs and apps on the smartphone like Snapchat and Instagram.
So in summary, whether it takes the form of augmented reality, blending the real and the digital, immersive VR, or simply text type onto a screen, digital tools are also providing us new and readily available means of communication with about ourselves. Importantly, this channel can have effect on how we see ourselves, how we talk about ourselves, and how we relate ourselves. All of this is additional to how other may see, talk about, or relate to us. No longer CMC communication tool can blend and blur the lines between offline and online and virtual reality. Those devices give us new channel to use in old ways as well as a new ways of communication with ourselves. So that is our reporting for today. Thank you very much and have a great day ahead.